Tonight is the longest night of the year, the darkest night, the moment when light is at its minimum and darkness reaches its peak. And tomorrow, the light begins its return. Not dramatically, not all at once, just a minute or two each day. But the turning has happened. The shift has begun. This is the winter solstice. And if you've been walking a healing journey, you know this rhythm intimately. You know what it means to move through the darkness, to endure the long night, to wonder if light will ever return. And you know what it means to turn, to choose consciously, to face toward light, even when darkness still surrounds you. I'm Judi Bommarito, and this is a special winter solstice reflection on our healing journey. We've moved through 26 cards together, from the maiden's curiosity, through the mother's capacity building, into the crown's wisdom. We've learned to release shame, sit with discomfort, set boundaries, reclaim our voices, recognize our worth, acknowledge our resilience, and claim our power. We've done the work of the longest night. We faced our darkness with courage. And now we turn toward light. The earth doesn't resist winter. It doesn't try to rush through darkness or pretend the long nights aren't real. It moves through its cycles with patience, with trust, with the wisdom that darkness serves a purpose. Seeds germinate in darkness. Roots grow deep when nothing is visible above ground. Rest happens in the dark. Transformation happens in the unseen. Your healing journey works the same way. You needed the darkness. You needed to descend into what hurt, what shaped you, what you carried. You needed to face what you'd been running from, name what you'd been avoiding, feel what you'd been numbing. That's the work of the long night. And you've been doing it, card by card, week by week, facing your shadows with the kind of courage that comes only from necessity. But here's what the solstice teaches us. Darkness isn't the destination. It's part of the cycle. You move through it, not to stay there, but to emerge transformed by what you've faced. The solstice is the turning point. The moment you stop moving deeper into darkness and begin moving back toward light. Not because the darkness is over. It's still the longest night, but because the direction has shifted. You're no longer moving into, you're moving through, toward. Before we turn toward light, we need to acknowledge the darkness you've navigated. You've sat with grief about what you didn't receive. You've released shame that was never yours to carry. You've felt the weight of resilience and acknowledged what it cost. You've faced your wounds honestly instead of pretending they don't exist. You've done the hard work of the maiden phase, getting curious about your story, willing to look at what shaped you. You've done the deep work of the mother phase, building capacity to feel, to nurture yourself, to hold complexity without shattering. You've done the wise work of the crone phase, accepting imperfection, recognizing abundance, reclaiming joy, knowing your worth, honoring your resilience, claiming your power. This is descent work, shadow work, the kind of healing that requires you to move through darkness instead of around it. And you did it. You showed up, you felt, you stayed. You chose to face what many people spend their entire lives avoiding. That deserves acknowledgement, not as a means to an end, but as sacred work in itself. The darkness wasn't a mistake. It wasn't something to rush through or get over quickly. It was where the real transformation happened, where you learned what you're capable of, where you discovered who you are beneath the survival strategies. So before we turn toward light, we honor the darkness. We bow to it. We recognize it as necessary, as transformative, as the very ground from which growth emerges. Here's what the solstice makes clear. Turning toward light is a choice, not a destination you arrive at. Tomorrow won't be bright. The darkness doesn't disappear overnight. Winter continues. The nights are still long, but the direction has changed. You're facing toward light even while darkness still surrounds you. This is where you are in your healing. You're not done. You're not fixed. You haven't arrived at some final destination where everything is resolved and you feel good all the time. You're in the turning. You're in the moment where you consciously choose to face toward light while still holding the reality of darkness. This is how it may look. Acknowledging your pain and recognizing moments of joy. Honoring your wounds and celebrating your growth. Feeling your grief and allowing yourself delight. Remembering what hurt you and noticing what heals you. Carrying your story and choosing what you create next. You're not choosing light instead of darkness. You're choosing to turn toward light while holding the truth of darkness. This is the both and the crone knows. This is the complexity you've been learning to hold through every card, every practice, every honest moment of this journey. The turn toward light doesn't erase the dark. It shifts your direction, your focus, your face. Light, in the context of healing, isn't toxic positivity. It isn't pretending everything is fine. It isn't forcing gratitude for trauma or reframing suffering as blessing. Light is what's real, true, and nourishing. It's what helps you grow, what illuminates, what warms, what gives life. Light is relationships that actually nourish you instead of deplete you. Practices that replenish you instead of exhaust you. Choices that honor you instead of diminish you. Truths that free you instead of bind you. Connections that see you instead of use you. Moments that restore you instead of drain you. Light is also your own capacity that you've been discovering. Your own worth that you've been remembering. Your own voice that you've been reclaiming. Your own power that you've been exercising. Your own resilience that you've been honoring. Your own joy that you've been rediscovering. Turning toward light means consciously choosing to face these sources of genuine nourishment, to prioritize what actually heals you, to seek what actually sustains you. It means noticing where light already exists in your life, the small moments of genuine connection, the practices that actually help, the choices that honor you, and deliberately turning your attention there, not to escape the dark, but to balance it, to find your way through by following what illuminates. Here's something profound about solstice. While the earth is turning toward the sun's light, you've been becoming your own light source. Every boundary you set is light. It illuminates what's acceptable and what's not. Every time you've used your voice, you've created light. You've made visible what was hidden. Every moment you've chosen to honor yourself instead of diminish yourself, you've generated light. You're not just turning toward external light. You're recognizing the light you've been cultivating within yourself through this entire journey. Your capacity to feel, that's light. Your ability to hold complexity, that's light. Your willingness to keep choosing growth, that's light. Your courage to face truth, that's light. The work you've done through the maiden, mother, and crone phases hasn't just prepared you to receive light, it's made you luminous. You are not the same person who began this journey. You've been transformed by what you've faced. You've been illuminated by your own courage. And now, as you turn toward light, you're also turning toward yourself, toward the person you've been becoming through all of this darkness. The solstice is a turning point, not an ending. After tomorrow, winter continues. The cold remains. The darkness is still more than the light for weeks to come. But the trajectory has shifted. Every day moves incrementally toward more light, more warmth, more growth potential. Your healing works the same way. After the turn, you don't suddenly arrive at healed. You continue the journey, but the direction has changed. You're moving toward wholeness, toward integration, toward the life you're creating. This means the following. You'll still have hard days, but you know now how to navigate them. You'll still feel old wounds, but you'll have practices pretending them. You'll still encounter darkness, but you know it's part of the cycle, not the destination. You'll still need to practice what you've learned, but the tools are yours now. The cards we'll return to after the new year will continue this trajectory, not back into darkness, but forward with the wisdom darkness taught you. Applying what you've learned, creating with what you've discovered, building the life that only you, transformed by this journey, can build. This week, between now and the new year, practice this simple ritual, the solstice light ceremony. You'll need 1 candle, any kind will do, a dark room, and 10 minutes of uninterrupted time. Turn off all the lights, sit in darkness, let your eyes adjust. As you sit, acknowledge what you've moved through. I have walked through darkness. I have faced my shadows. I have felt what I was afraid to feel. I honor the darkness and what it taught me. Feel the darkness around you. Notice it without fear. You know darkness now. You've survived it. When you feel comfortable, strike a match or lighter. Light your candle. Watch the flame catch. As you light it, say, I choose to turn toward light, not because darkness wasn't real, but because I'm ready to move through it toward what nourishes me. Watch the candle flame. Notice how one small light changes everything. The darkness is still there. You can see it beyond the light's reach. But the light is enough to see by, enough to warm you, enough to guide you. As you watch, speak these truths aloud. I am not the same person who entered this darkness. I have built capacity I didn't know I had. I have faced truth I was afraid to see. I have honored myself in ways I never did before. I have become my own light source. I turn toward light, toward what heals, what nourishes, what illuminates. Still watching the flame, identify one specific way you'll turn toward light this upcoming week. A relationship that nourishes you, that you'll prioritize. A practice that restores you, that you'll commit to. A choice that honors you, that you'll make. A truth that frees you, that you'll speak. Say it aloud. This week, I turn toward the light by, and then fill in the blank. When ready, blow out the candle. Sit for a moment in the darkness again. Notice that you're not afraid of it anymore. Then turn on the lights and return to your evening. Do this ceremony once between now and the new year. Mark the turning. Honor what you've moved through. Choose what you're moving toward. Tonight is the longest night, and tomorrow, the light begins its return. You've been moving through your own long night, through shadow work and wound tending, and the honest acknowledgement of what hurt and what it cost. You've descended into your story, faced your truth, held your complexity. That descent was necessary. It was sacred. It was the only way through. And now you turn. Not because you're done healing, not because the darkness is over, but because healing isn't just about facing darkness. It's also about choosing light. You've learned to sit with what's hard. Now you're learning to reach for what nourishes. You've honored your wounds. Now you're recognizing your wholeness. You've felt your pain. Now you're reclaiming your joy. You've acknowledged your resilience. Now you're claiming your power. The maiden's curiosity, the mother's capacity, the crone's wisdom. You carry all of this with you as you turn toward light. Not to escape what you've learned, but to apply it. Not to forget the darkness, but to move through it towards what waits beyond. What are you turning toward? What light are you choosing to face? Share in the comments one way you're turning toward light this week. Next week, we'll reflect on this year, what we've moved through, what we're releasing, what we're calling in as we begin again. We'll set intentions not from should or obligation, but from the wisdom we've earned. Practice your solstice light ceremony this week. Sit in darkness, light your candle, speak your truth, commit to your turn. The longest night is here, and tomorrow, the light returns. Not all at once, but steadily, surely, inevitably. You've done the work of darkness. Now you're ready for what light reveals. Winter continues, but the direction has changed. You're no longer moving into darkness. You're moving through it, toward light, toward life, toward the person you've been becoming all along. Welcome to the turning. Take good care.